Good morning, everybody. Tanner here with Tanner Phifer NFL on Twitter. Welcome to the NFL Rumors podcast, episode 11. Got a lot to talk about today. We're joined here by the very famous NFL Rumors Twitter account owner. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. And once again, thanks for letting me host your podcast.
Hey, no problem, Tanner. It's my pleasure having you as the host. Good morning. A lot of news to talk about this morning. A lot of things going on. A really sad week in the NFL, but has some bright spots as well.
Yep,
Yep, and we'll probably get right into it. We didn't have no Thursday night game. This was the
that's
first
true.
Thursday
Yeah.
night game in a while we didn't have. So one of the biggest things that we are covering this week, and
Mm-hmm.
sadly, was the Damar Hamlin situation on Monday night. T. Higgins and him collided, which of course it wasn't T. Higgins' fault at all. But when they collided, he was hitting the chest there, and um, he ended up going into cardiac arrest there on the field,
Yeah.
and had to have CPR done. A couple of times, to my understanding, he didn't have a pulse.
Yeah, they
And
say he was basically not breathing for like 9 minutes, which is insane. It's an insanely long time. The doctor said that the Bills staff member saved his life.
yeah, right. So big shout out first of all to Danny Kellington, a real life hero for sure. He performed CPR on Damar Hamlin, and even the doctor said it was crucial to saving his life yesterday.
Oh yeah, it was. And the thing is like it's a horrible situation, but you got to remember that these first responders and healthcare workers see these things and experience these things every single day, and they deserve a round of applause
Right.
because not trying to take away any importance from what has happened this week, but like I'm happy the NFL and NFLPA are providing whatever is needed for these players and the team members and faculty, all of them to get through this. But I think it's important that people in public receive the care they need as well. I think this is could and should be a wake up call for everyone. Kind of like all healthcare workers, first responders deserve some kind of treatment plans in case they need to talk about things that they experience. And it's just horrible all the way around. Mikey, Saints fan for life, says hello. Thank you so much for joining this morning.
Hello. Yeah, and like when you look at this situation, I think it was a really rough. It was tight for a while. Definitely a lot of prayers went up, and you know, uh, at that point, a lot of people praying for tomorrow. Also, the doctors they're helping him. The nurses they're being around the clock for his care. You know, uh, and then yesterday we had the good news of was able to open his eyes, and he had been grasping some family members' hands, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
That means you got neurological development there is still intact. And that was great. And he's still going to be a long recovery for tomorrow. And but that's some great signs of what's going on with them. We're
Yeah.
really really happy that happened. It's just a tragic thing. First time we ever seen that happen. Um,
Yeah.
falling
That's
back.
like I think the way he was hit in the chest, which is nobody's fault.
Mhm.
But the, I want to say I saw this thing on, I don't know how accurate it is, but it's like a 2 million chance that could even happen. Like it just hit him in the right spot and just caused his heart to just stop.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
think it can.
crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm not a doctor or anything for sure, but
Me either.
yeah, but I would think that if you take a big hit to the chest, like even people that get in car wrecks and things like that, I think it can kind of throw your heart out of rhythm to make it stop too. Because he did get up, if you think about it, like he did get up, and that might have could been what happened. Like it threw
Yeah.
itself out of rhythm and then it stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Just
I don't know
horrible,
that. I
horrible
don't know that for
situation
sure.
though, all the way around.
Yeah, definitely,
But he
definitely.
still has a long road of
Mhm.
recovery because we really don't know much about his process right now and how much he's healing. I mean, the good news is that woke up and was responding, but there's still a long ways to go.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things, just to talk about, from my understanding, he's a really outstanding young man. And
Hmm.
he was given into the community, like doing toy drives and things like that. And we kind of threw that out there that honestly, I mean, he is one of the least paid players on the Bills, really. I mean, thinking about that, not saying nothing negative, of course, but like he made 980,000. But what I made done that to make that point is like he was doing big things, even though he was one of the least paid players in the NFL for charity.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
and
that needs to be commended, right? I mean,
mhm.
he ain't making tons of like other people are making, right?
And one
And
of the things right now is like what's great, and I'm so happy that it's happening. He's his charity now is over what $7.5 million raised.
right, yeah. The last time I checked, it was over $7 million, and you know, they definitely, I want to take a moment too, like, and kind of shout out a few of these people because that's deserving. I feel that they have, showed that charity themselves
Mhm.
and been able to give. And the last time I checked, and so I haven't looked at it this morning. So the last time I checked, these were some of the ones Jim Irsay gave the most. Then the rest of these have gave over $2,500. That's Patriots Robert Kraft, the owner,
Yeah, saw
Matthew
that.
Matthew Stafford, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Devontae Adams, Andy Dalton, Shannon Sharp, Wink Martindale, and Josh McDaniels. These were all people that gave over $2,500, and a couple of other people that I want to give a shout out to, like not NFL guys, but I seen words Chris Jericho, the AEW star.
Yeah, yeah.
He gave I think a couple $1,000s as well.
Chris Jericho, he was in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing SmackDown versus Raw 2004, and Chris Jericho was one of the guys in there. He's been around a while. That's
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
name.
Oh yeah, definitely. So big shout out to those guys for doing it. And one of the things that I suggest that I think I would love to see, honestly, is I'd love to see everybody the NFL with Roger Goodell. And I know a lot of people had like at the commish on this with the
Hmm.
suggestion that we put out there was putting a number 3 blue on all the helmets. Just and then if Demar is got the TV on watching NFL this week, he could see that everybody was thinking about him.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great. Actually, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think it would too. I think it would too. Then, you broke some news last night we want to talk about is Peyton Hillis,
Yep.
was at the ocean with his family. And I'll let you talk a little bit more about it in just a second. But he it seemed, was now in critical care with some lung damage, what we hear, and that you broke, that he saved his family's life in the ocean. Talk to us a little bit about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
So Peyton Hillis, former, I'm an Arkansan and really always loved Peyton Hillis. He played with Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, one of the most fearsome running back trios I've ever seen in football history there. But I guess he was, I want to say, in Mississippi. And I guess just his family's at the ocean or something. And because they didn't say it was like a pool or anything. From what I heard, it was the ocean. And
Mm-hmm.
his kids were, I don't know how, how, maybe just out too far or something and just were drowning. And he saved their lives, but now he's in critical care. They say he's got some lung issues and some kidney damage, but I did see where his uncle, I believe, took to Facebook and cleared some speculations that, it may not be. They say he's getting better, and that Peyton would appreciate all the prayers and everything. But they say he's getting better. They just wanted to clear any speculation that he may be not doing so hot right now.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So that's the good news. Hopefully he recovers fully from that. And, he saved his kids' lives. He put himself first, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah, just think about it. 2 big heroes this week. The Bills trainer, Danny Tellington, and then we got Peyton Hillis saving his kid's life. So the interesting. And then we got Blaine Gabbert, right? Like a week ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We got Blaine Gabbert, like he was jet skiing with his brothers over the holiday, and a boat happened, right? Like a boat wreck. And he actually reached out, and they got the people the help they needed, right? And he kind of, to my understanding, he helped kind of put one of them on jet ski that wasn't injured. And
really,
so it was great stuff, right? Like, a lot of good things, like a lot of negative things come up with the NFL players a lot sometimes. Man, people report those, but definitely we need to report all these good things that happen too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like Blaine Gabbert helping save lives as well. It's just been a crazy start to the new year, to be honest.
It has, yeah.
And happy New Year's to everyone, by the way. I don't know. I think our last podcast was right before New Year's. So happy New Year's to everybody. We want to cover some things, as we talk about everything going on in the NFL right now. This is a nice transition into what the NFL is proposed, I guess. And I think they're voting on it today, is like all these AFC potential matchups for the championship. Let's get into that.
Yeah, definitely. To my understanding, let me pull up
all the scenarios. Yeah, they have like 3 different scenarios of a potential AFC championship. I know that they're talking about having a neutral site, so no one's going to have a home field advantage, because they are calling the Bills-Bengals game a no contest. Like it's not being played. It's not a draw. It's not a tie. It's just not being, it's not being marked down.
Right.
As far as I know.
Like last night, they gave a ton of different scenarios where, like, they will play at a neutral site, but one of the scenarios that I think Bengals fans were upset about is the fact that the Bengals and Ravens, if they had to play a wild card game, I think that was one of the biggest things. Like, it's the scenario 1. I'm just going to read you the couple of scenarios from last night. Buffalo and Kansas City both win or both tie. Buffalo versus Kansas City championship will be at a neutral site.
Yeah, that sounds.
Scenario 2, Buffalo and Kansas City both lose, and Baltimore wins or ties. Buffalo versus Kansas City championship will be at a neutral site. Scenario 3, Buffalo and Kansas City both lose and Cincinnati wins. A Buffalo or Cincinnati versus Kansas City championship game will be at a neutral site. So in essence, that was, this game seems like it's going to be at a neutral site for the AFC championship.
Yeah, it seems that way. And I don't know how they rule all these things, because in all the scenarios, it gets so complicated in my head. Like, I can't keep up with all that. So I just got to trust what they're saying.
Right.
Like the wins and losses and all that stuff.
Right. It seems like, with everything, a lot of Cincinnati fans were not happy. I seen a lot of people that follow the account, had replied with some things about not being happy with how it was going, because I think it was like Cincinnati, the way it's set up, Cincinnati next year will get like a tough schedule. You know what I mean? And it is, well, I think that is one of those things is, I think this was what I was reading. It says, as we consider the football schedule, our principles have been to limit disruption across the league. and minimize competitive inequities. Goodell said, I recognize that there is no perfect situation, but the proposal we are asking the ownership to consider, however, must address the most significant potential equitable issues created by the difficult but necessary decision.
Yeah.
So there are a lot
Jeez.
of things about to happen, you know what I mean, today
Did
with
you see
this.
that? Somebody posted, who was it? Was it Joe Mixon last night? Posted like the actual rule book saying like if a game is canceled, then it should go, then something goes to the person with the highest overall record, or I don't know. But he had a tweet out there and he's like, so the NFL is just not following their own rules. And I'm sure there's more to it than that, but I don't really know. And I think it makes sense because I think it was Bengals Joe Mixon. It was maybe something that didn't favor the Bengals, and he like
Mhm.
looked up the rules. I don't know if you saw that or not, but
No, I never did see that one, but
mm,
I mean, I just think Bengal fans are the reason that they're kind of upset a little bit.
yeah,
They felt that, and honestly, I'm just taking this from a Bengals fan that that messaged us, his opinion, right?
yeah,
He said a lot of the fan base were, they were right there with Demar, Hamlin. They were like very supportive, and they're continue to be supportive, right, with them. And but they feel that, you know, doing everything that they did and doing, being one of the best fan base. And I agree that was one of the best fan base games for an opponent of what happened that I
mhm.
ever seen. Right. And they was like, it feels like we're, but now we're getting a a shaft because, even though that, we feel that we did everything right and we're still going to do everything right and still, support DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah. It's just it gets so complicated, and especially something like this, like we said, has never happened before. It just I, I don't really.
It's going to be tough. No matter what happens, is it going to be fair? No. Let's just be honest, right? It's
Mhm,
not going to be fair, right? I mean, it's never, not 100% of the people are going to agree that this is going to be fair, right? Never. That's never going to happen.
mhm.
They're just trying to make the best of a real, real bad situation, right? And I know it's a tough decision, honestly, right? It's a real hard decision to come up with this, right?
Yeah.
And but they're trying to make it because remember you got these other teams, even though they're supporting and they what happened to Demar, they're supporting that and they're pulling for the young man. Now they're going into that business mode a little bit too, where they're trying to now they got to make a decision what's fair,
Oh
what's
yeah, I
going.
mean you gotta understand these NFL's probably doing everything they can right now. I mean, so people just gotta be patient and just know that this is a situation that's got to be worked through. Um,
Right.
like
I
they're
actually thought they might replay this. You know what I thought might happen? Like, this was just my thought. I actually thought that what they would do, they would play this next week out,
mhm.
right? Push the playoffs back a week. Okay. Just push the playoff back a week. I know it's not great to do that, right? And let the Bengals and the Bills play that game.
I don't know.
But then I think because that Bengals Bills game, had such effects to it and things going on and everything of that nature with everything going on, I
Mhm.
understand why that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
But it's I mean, like they said, they're looking at all the situation. It seems that no matter what's going to happen, it's going to be played at a neutral field when they get in the playoffs.
I think so. I think that's the only fair way. Like I said, the NFL is I mean, you got to think, man, there's probably a whole team of people trying to work out every situation possible and every calculation possible to make this as fair as it can get.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
definitely, and that's something that we're monitoring and we're looking at with that. So something to keep in mind. I want to go to some of the rumors now.
all right, let's
Um,
go.
Yep, we'll go to some of the rumors that's kind of happening this week, and we want to start out we'll start out with the bunt. We got quite a few.
Okay.
AJ Green is undecided whether he's going to play next season. AJ Green's getting up there in age for sure.
Oh yeah.
He's had a tough year this year. Last year he had a pretty good year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. You got J.J. Watt, who's retiring from the Cardinals. Cardinals looks like they're going to go through a major overhaul here in the off season. So A.J. Green is thinking about what he's going to do. Another one for Mary Cabot is that Jadeveon Clowney will probably not return to the Browns next season. He
I
said
saw
that
that. He's like
he
a
said, yeah,
95% chance. He said he's not going to return.
right. So pretty much, he's not returning, right? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
But when one of the things he called out was, he wanted people to back him, right? Like people to back, in essence, back him as a player, back his, play and everything. J.W. Clowney has a lot of talent, right? Now he's not being like there've been times where he's been great. There've been times where he's been average, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a little discard there with the coaching staff there. So
I saw something. He's like, he didn't like the matchups that they were assigning him to.
he played defensive tackle a lot too. Like they put him in that playing defensive tackle a bunch. And I don't think that is his strong suit, in my opinion. Yep. So that's another one that we're monitoring. The one Jim Harbaugh had told multiple people. I know he's always in the news in the off season. Jim Harbaugh will always be there, when it comes to it. But he said that he sees himself playing for Michigan. He can't predict the future, but he sees himself coaching for Michigan next season. Which, listen, he's not going to leave Michigan though unless it's the perfect situation. Really perfect for him.
It's going to be perfect. He's going to get offers from Broncos, Colts, at least two teams he's going to get offers from. And that's actually a huge rumor right now because it was a report by The Athletic that now Michigan's like under investigation for something.
That could be huge right there. Right. They said they're minor violations.
Of
But
what?
yeah, but they supposed to come out with those today. I heard, and that's going to be seeing what happens with Jim Harbaugh. Something happens where it's suspending where they can limit their recruits, right? That could open up some things. Now, two of the teams that's mentioned in rumors for Jim Harbaugh right now, before this came out, it was. One of the big ones was the Colts, the Broncos was two. The Cardinals was mentioned in passing as well. I don't think he would go to the Cardinals, to be honest. The reason why is Kyler Murray probably won't come back into the middle of next season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he'll be looking at that. The Colts definitely are somebody he could probably look at, and they got some things that he could work with, but they would have to get a quarterback, right? If he chose the Broncos, he'd get Russell Wilson to see if he could, do some things with him with the running game. They got a really good running back there, really good defense. So that would be very, I think, Jim Harbaugh. One of the things that nobody's really talking about right now is John Elway. Right. John Elway played at Stanford, goes to Stanford games, and has a close tie with Jim Harbaugh. Okay, so he wanted Jim Harbaugh before to be the coach. So that was when he had a lot more say in that organization, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they could use him as a recruiting piece if they really wanted Jim Harbaugh. You know what I mean? They could use John Elway there.
And wasn't the defensive coordinator right now for the Broncos, wasn't he working under Harbaugh at one point?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check to make sure. But yeah, he's somebody that I think will get an interview for the job. Because he's done such a good job with the defense.
Yeah.
A lot of people
I
talk
just
about Sean Payton, Tanner, to the Broncos, but I'm going to tell you why it won't happen. Right?
Why's that?
Is because of Vic Fangio. Right? So Vic Fangio, coached the Broncos, was fired, and he has already told all people around him that Vic Fangio will be his DC. If he
Oh
took
yeah,
the
yeah.
job.
We talked about this the last episode, didn't we?
Yep. And so listen, I think Sean Payton will go somewhere else, right? I don't think he'll take a chance on losing Vic Fangio as a DC, right? And if he goes to the Broncos, he's going to have to pick somebody else because he's not going to go with them, right? But the Sean Payton, listen, the Chargers are still, to me, I know the Chargers. It really helped the Chargers head coach the last few weeks what he did. But I just happen to think the Chargers are still the best fit, because you're going to bring in Sean Payton, somebody to work with Justin Herbert. Not only that, you're going to replace your head coach currently with almost a head coach on defense in Vic Fangio. So, man.
Yeah, I think that no matter what, what's the Brandon Staley? I think he needs to be gone, regardless of what happens.
Right.
But sadly, I think them making the playoffs may have just saved him. But I still think that's the wrong call. If they
Right.
keep him.
One of the places that Sean Payton has talked about wanting to go, the Cowboys. I don't think that would happen unless there's a big breakdown in the Cowboys. You know what I mean? Like if they were pretty much went to the playoffs, maybe got embarrassed, right?
Yeah,
or something like that, or they lost a game, or they were 1-out. Then I guess they could consider that. The other team is the Cardinals. That has got a legit thing, right? Like Sean Payton has proven he can fix the quarterback for a while. If Kyler Murray's out for a while, he can fix the quarterback good enough to where he can wait for Kyler Murray to come back, right?
Yeah, he could.
Yep. So I think when you look at that, I really believe that those are really the top landing spots for him, unless something changes. One of the things about Harbaugh, going back to him real quick, Tanner, is he did not have an interview. They wanted to make this clear. He didn't have an interview with Dave Tepper of the Panthers, but Dave Tepper said he did talk to Jim Harbaugh about the coaching position.
Okay.
So that will be something to just monitor, right? Something to look at, and because Panthers are stacked on defense, they're really a quarterback away from being a playoff team, right?
You think that's all the Panthers would need?
Yeah, because they got as long as they could sign the running back, he had a really good season, Deontay Foreman.
Yeah, he has been good.
Yep, they got weapons there already for the Panthers on the wide receiver side. They could maybe add another skill player, right? And they add a quarterback, and then they go in and they got one of the best defenses already in the NFL. So, I mean, they're not that far as people think away. You know what I mean? I think that's I think that's something to just to keep a lookout there. Some more rumors that we had was they said look for James Washington maybe to land on a team coming up. He was released by the Cowboys.
Yes, he was.
Yep. So he might be landing on a team soon. Another one we had was Marcus Mariota. This was reported by the Athletic. Before the injury situation, a lot of people says, hey, he was injured, but it seems before the injury situation, he was ready to walk away from his team anyway. Right. When he got benched for Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with all that. Like, did he really step away from the team?
He stepped away because his wife, a couple of things. His wife had a baby, which is understandable. He stepped away for a little bit. And then not only did his wife have a baby, but then he had this injury that he had, and he went ahead and had the surgery, but he played with the injury already through the season already, right? He'd already been playing through the injury. And I think what the Falcons really thought about it was, so why did you go ahead and have the surgery and just step away from the team? Well, I mean, why are we just not waiting just to the end of the year and doing it?
Yeah, like he's
Right.
kind of just using it as an excuse at this point.
Well, I mean that's what the speculation is, and a lot of people is reporting it. Says that I think it was a looks like one of the an agent tells the Athletic that a lot of people thinks that Marcus Mariota quit on his team.
So what do you think? Was he a 1-year deal, or was he on a 2-year deal right now?
I thought it was a 2, but I'm gonna have to check to make sure.
Yeah, I thought maybe a 2-year as well.
Yeah, I mean he could definitely be looking at a release, right? I mean you could definitely be looking at a release for him in the off season, and definitely I don't see him at all coming back as the coach. Coming back as any to do with the team. I don't.
Not with the Falcons.
No, it could hurt him too, adding to another team.
What's that?
It could really hurt him as well going to another team. Like in the off season, it could hurt somebody kept wanting to sign him like as a backup or something like that. Like if they felt like he quit on his team.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean it's like why would you take a chance on a guy who's going to quit on us kind of thing?
Right. And another thing that we got, Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh said he needed to get away from the game a little bit to clear his head. A lot of people took it a lot of different ways, like, hey, Zach Wilson, is he, the guy, the GM of the Jets said that they don't have no plans in trading him. So, that seems like that's not going to happen. I think what he meant was he's very young, right? Zach Wilson, and maybe he just needs some time to kind of get away, clear his head a little bit, and then come back next season.
Here's what I'm telling you about Robert Saleh and this whole Zach Wilson situation. This guy is going to get himself fired by standing by Zach Wilson for too long. If he's not careful, he's going to get himself gone real fast.
The Jets media, they're pretty
done
rough.
with Zach.
They're pretty rough in New York, right? So that is something that we'll dive into. That was talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, right? So Jimmy Garoppolo is reported by Fox Sports that, and we all know this already as well, that he set himself up with a great contract for next season, right? No matter what, he's going to set himself up.
Yeah.
Some of the teams that they reported that are supposed to get in a bargaining war for Jimmy G are the Dolphins, which makes a lot of sense because you got Mike McDaniel, who worked with the 49ers. He can put him in the offense. And he can be an insurance policy for Tua, right?
Yeah.
Tua is a situation that everybody's monitoring and see because he took a lot of licks early on. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see what happens there. The Jets, definitely. The Jets that we just talked about, is plug and play, right? It's the same offense as the Dolphins. So he's got, this could be where Robert Saleh could add himself somebody for a leader for the locker room. They've already got Garrett Wilson, who leads all rookies in receiving.
Yeah.
And you could actually turn Elijah back around. You got that they've kind of like shedded down where, they barely threw the guy the ball, Elijah Moore.
It's so much that he requested a trade in his second season, and of course they didn't approve that.
He could change that. He could change that and get him the ball with Garrett Wilson. So I think that's something to look at. Panthers, right? We just talked about them needing a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Panthers, you add Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he would be a really good fit because you're throwing the ball to DJ Moore. You're throwing the ball to a lot of they got some young receivers that he could open the game up with. They got Foreman, the running back. They got a decent offensive line. He's got a good defense. It seems like a good fit for Jimmy there.
It makes sense. There's a lot of connections there, and I mean, gosh, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the Commanders. A lot of people's iffy about him there, but honestly, the
No way.
Commanders would be a team that are probably looking for a quarterback, and you could, if you're talking about that, you could have Jimmy not only be the starter but mentor their young quarterback there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the Commanders as well.
Yep.
I don't know. And I'm actually kind of excited to see how Sam Howell does this week, to be honest with you.
Me too. Yeah, did you hear their quarterback actually, we tweeted out this week, that quarterback, they were going to go.
Taylor Heineke, and he said, hey, I think that Sam Howell deserves a shot to start and play the full game.
Yeah, and he was going to be the starter, actually. Like Sam Howell wasn't going to be the starter.
No, it was going to be Taylor Heineke all the way.
Yep. So I think that was really cool of him, like really humble guy. So
he seems like it, and I don't doubt that he wants to play because I know Taylor Heineke wants to play. It's just he wants to win. So I think he's doing what it takes.
Another thing too, though, if you think about it, he wants to be. I think when you're looking at that, he's been in the situation of Sam Howell, right? Like he's like not getting a chance, right? And so he probably is very open to knowing how that feels. So that is something to get the Texans. I know a lot of people like clown on this a little bit, but listen, this is you got the general manager who drafted Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yep.
Right. But listen, this is the thing. They're going to still draft probably their quarterback, right? They're going to draft Bryce Young. Right, they're still going to draft him.
More than likely.
Yeah, but you can put Jimmy in as the starter and watch him how a pro handles things. And then, let him do that for a year and then hand it to him. Right? And I think that's a possibility. Raiders are a big one. I think the Raiders myself go after Tom Brady. Right. I think the Raiders are going after Tom Brady. Right.
You think Brady's going to come back another year?
Yes. I think the Raiders are very tempting for him to come play Josh McDaniel. Right. And I think that's who the Raiders go after is Tom Brady. Right. But I think Jimmy Garoppolo will be an excellent backup plan if you don't get Tom Brady. You know what I mean? And, been like, hey, Jimmy, we got Devontae Adams here, right?
But hey, let's talk about what we saw from Jarrett Stidham.
He done good, man.
Dude, was the problem in Vegas was Derek Carr? Is that already proven after that performance?
I don't know. Like one game don't prove it for me. Like I'm a Derek Carr fan. But you know what I'm saying? I'm saying Derek Carr has had some miscues as well. For sure. But Jared Stidham did show that, that first game. And what's so impressive about Jared Stidham in that game, it was against the 49ers. The only person the only person to do that so far against the 49ers is somebody named Patrick Mahomes.
Who's that?
Yeah, right. Right. So, when you're looking at that, like Raiders, Jared Stidham done well. But think about it. I'm going to add Tom Brady to the mix. Hey, Jared, you're young. You can develop. Let's watch Tom Brady a year, right? And keep on learning from him. And then, then hand this over to you.
I mean, you couldn't say no.
No.
Like, you couldn't.
No.
Like, hey, we're going to sign Tom Brady. You're basically going to sit you have no choice. If you sign Tom Brady, he's starting. And do you think that Tom Brady's going to come back another year?
Yes, I think Tom Brady will come back, and I do think that the Raiders are the team.
That's awesome, man. That's the take, man.
Yeah, I think the Raiders are the team, right? I do really do. I think the Raiders are the team.
You think they have what it takes? Or you think they're a quarterback away?
Yes, because what the thing about it is Tom Brady knows Josh McDaniels' offense. That's a huge fit right there. You're not going to have to teach nobody the offense or anything like that. You got Devontae Adams. You might add another weapon, right? Hey, who knows that they might go to a double tight end set, Darren Waller and Rob Gronkowski. You know what I mean?
Nah, he ain't coming back, bro. He's retired twice.
Hey, you know what he said? Listen, he said he's not closing the door on 23.
He never said that.
Yeah, he did.
No.
He said he's not closing the door on 2023.
When did he say that?
So a couple weeks ago. So he's open for 2023. He's done. Listen, if Tom Brady comes to him and says, "Hey, I'm going to the Raiders in Vegas," Grunk, come on, man, Vegas. What you do in Vegas?
Vegas is no good. They're just gonna get in trouble.
Yeah,
like,
but
the only thing that happens there is trouble.
It could, but man, think about it. Like you had Rob Gronkowski and you had Tom Brady, and you put him with Darren Waller and Devontae Adams. Dude, you got a pretty good team. Get him some help on the offensive line.
You guys are hearing it here first, okay? You are hearing it here right now. NFL Rumors thinks he sees Tom Brady possibly going to the Raiders. I'm saying ain't no way. I mean, okay, hang on. I'm sorry. You think that they're at least a quarterback away. I think they're way more than a quarterback away. Even with Josh McDaniels and the history that he has with Tom Brady, that team would not be a winning team. They might have a winning record, but they are not a Super Bowl threat, in my opinion, even if they had a quarterback like Tom Brady.
I think that definitely they could use to add some pieces. Don't get me wrong, like on the defense especially. But offensively, I think that they would be very hard to beat. You got to think, you got Josh Jacobs, who leads the NFL in rushing, right?
Yeah.
Not only you got Josh Jacobs, you're going to have Devontae Adams. You're going to have Darren Waller. You're going to have possibly you add another wide receiver to the mix, right? And go in there and, man, Tom Brady can recruit people for low salary. Trust me.
Yeah, right, I know. I
think it could happen, man. I think Tom Brady could happen, and but I want to move on because I know it's exciting for the Raider fans to possibly get Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I do think it could happen though. The Colts need a quarterback. Hearing they're very, 100%. Very high on the Kentucky quarterback.
He does look good.
Yep. Hearing that they're very high on him. The other part of things is with the Colts, they definitely need somebody other than Jeff Saturday, right? Because I like Jeff Saturday. He's a great player, man. He's a really great player. And, he leads, he's changed some of the dynamic in the locker room, which is not good on Frank Wright's behalf, right?
Right.
But they need somebody that is somebody with experience, coaching experience to come in there, right? And do his thing.
Real quick. Buffalo Bills just tweeted, per the physicians at UCMC, DeMar Hamlin's breathing tube was removed overnight. He continues to progress remarkably in his recovery. His neurologic function remains intact. He has been able to talk to his family and care team.
Awesome.
Huge update. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there.
That's amazing. Amazing. You heard it here with Tanner. DeMar Hamlin update. Amazing update. Thank everybody for their prayers, their hard work with DeMar. But you heard it right here that the breathing tube is out. He gets to talk to his family. What a miracle.
He went from literally not being able to breathe on his own to only relying on 50% oxygen from the breathing machine to having his breathing tube removed and breathing on his own and now talking. Yesterday he was writing. Now he's talking. This is progress. This is great news, guys.
Great news, and you know what? I love just having the news here because I'm a big Damar Hamlin fan and everything that he's doing. Done and definitely pulling for the young man, praying for the young man. I think definitely, man. Only thing you say is God is good.
God is good.
God is
I
good.
can't imagine going through this. He's 24. I am 24 years old. And me and my parents were watching that game together, and we all saw him go down. And my mom was like, "I couldn't imagine if that was you, Tanner." And I was like, "I know, this poor young man, his poor family. But I mean, this is what prayer can do, and yeah, God is good."
Yeah, definitely. Prayer is an amazing thing for sure. Looking at, that's great news. I mean, there's nothing going to trump what we're going to say with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's excellent news. I'll get back into just Saturday just for a moment. Big news on that is Kayvon Thibodeau took a lot of heat.
He did. Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
who Jeff Saturday is.
I don't know who he is. Or
Yeah,
who
you do. He's the head coach. He's the coach. You know who he is. He just was at the heat of the moment. He said that because they were.
He knows who. Here's the thing. He knows who Jeff Saturday is. He knows he's a Hall of Famer. He has to know. He's a defensive lineman / linebacker. Like, dude, he knows who Jeff Saturday is. He knows he's a Hall of Famer. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, well, yeah, that would have been the better statement. It's like I mean, honestly, I don't care what he thinks. That that might have been what I would have said, right? Is I don't really care what he thinks.
Well, that's what he is saying. Like,
hey, listen,
he just doesn't care how it comes off.
Hey, listen, Tanner, I've had haters come at me before as well, for different things, and I actually don't care what they think either. I'm gonna keep on doing my thing.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? That's what I would have said if I was him. Right. And I would have just said, hey.
Breaking news again. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Mike White, Jets quarterback, ruled out with his ribs injury. Joe Flacco now starting. Zach Wilson, number 2.
Joe Flacco playing in the last game.
Dude, I swear, they can't make up their mind at quarterback. It's like Joe Flacco inactive for a couple weeks or third string quarterback. And it's just back and forth, dude. They can't. I like Mike White and what I've seen from him, but I think Joe Flacco is totally capable of handling this.
Yeah, I do too. I think Joe Flacco, if I'm Joe Flacco, I'm not gonna lie, man. If I'm Joe Flacco, I'm kind of not happy. I know I want to play, but I've been benched for a few weeks, and he's been a good soldier. I'll be honest. You've not heard anything in the media about him, like, hey,
total professional,
release me or whatever. You know what I mean? And let me get on a team to back up like somebody. Like, for example, hey, let me get on a team and back up Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you can get me a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Well, Flacco's a guy right now who could be starting. Like, I kind of see him right now as a game manager quarterback, kind of in the Garoppolo tier a bit. But he hasn't said anything. Like, I'm sure he's frustrated, but he knows his role right now, and he's accepted it, and he's being a leader on the Jets. I mean, he's been a total professional about all this.
Definitely. So, that was some of the big rumors that we got. Guys, you need to definitely tune in to me and Tanner here in the off season. I'm going to have a newsletter that's going to be coming out and breaking down each team's free agents soon. And
that'd be great.
Yep. And we're going to have that coming out, and we're going to be talking about it on the podcast as well. Remember, you can tune into the podcast on Apple. Or anywhere that you listen to podcasts at, right? Like Apple, you can listen to her on YouTube and watch.
We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on the Android podcast app, we're on, I believe, iHeartRadio, and some other little small ones. I think like Stitcher or Pocket something. We're on all the audio platforms, guys. You can find us anywhere. You just search NFL Rumors or NFL Rumors Podcast. you will find this podcast. And this offseason, we're breaking down literally everything. We're going to be breaking down predictions, offseason free agent landings. Last season, I think NFL Rumors had like an over 85% accuracy rate when it came to predicting free agent signings. So that's really impressive.
Definitely. Yeah. And one of the things is what our projections definitely last year was very, very good. Even I think the first season we did it was about 80%. Last season we ran about 85, which is, pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely been featured on a couple of things like ESPN. ESPN Radio a couple of times. Had some features there, and on Fox Radio. So definitely, I think we got some really great stuff coming up. A lot of free agents, guys. A lot of free agents. You got potentially one off season, guys. In one off season, you could have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, all move teams.
Yeah. Here's an update on on Jadeveon Clowney. He was told to stay home today. He's not practicing, and he's now inactive for Sunday.
Oh, yep. Start free agent early, Jadeveon.
Oh, this is great.
Yep. So you got that. Yep. You definitely got that, and Clowney will be playing with another team. Definitely.
He's basically good as done there now. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Let me tell you something like I have heard. This is just what I have heard, and I know we'll finish up here in a moment. But something I have heard over the last 24 hours is the Browns coach might not be as safe as people think.
I don't think he should be.
No, and I think a lot of this is stem. Now, let's see, Clowney, I'm not saying that he's to say I'll do all on things, but Clowney has talked about like coaches having their back and things like that. And, so that's one big area, right? Another thing too, I mean, you got Deshaun Watson, who's done decent since he's come back. He's not got probably everything back yet, so let's just be honest there.
Sure.
Yeah, but the Browns, I think that I've heard from a couple former people in the front office in the NFL, right? A couple people that have told us that they don't like he is a sleeper on Black Monday.
You think so?
Yeah, they said he was a sleeper on Black Monday. I talked to him as well, like as we talked about a little bit about this, and just to give you guys some heads up on it. Lovie Smith is kind of 50-50. That's what he said. Right? And this is coming from an NFL GM. But he said he thought Lovie Smith was 50-50 right now. Right? It just depends what happens with him. So, Lovie Smith have kept the Texans in a lot of games, but he would have to change his staff to stay. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have to agree to change his staff. So, at least to stay. He also said it's a 50-50 chance on Steve Wilkes. I don't think Steve Wilkes remains. I'll be honest. I think he's done good.
I don't think so either. He's not a head coach.
I think he's done good. He really has. He's done a good job bringing a locker room. But listen, it's not good when your owner goes and talks to Jim Harbaugh. Right? Like, talks to a potential head coach about a coaching job. Yeah, that's not good. That doesn't, to me, ring well. I
don't think Lovie Smith is going to be back, though, either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he might not. He might not. You know what I mean? Like, he might not. They're getting but you got to think of what he was dealt, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think about what he's dealt. Like, he stayed in games with teams like the Chiefs, right? And he's got dealt a rough situation, man. So I really
is in a yeah, I know, but
I don't know. I agree with the former general manager that's 50-50 shot, right? I mean, he could stay or he could go. So, like, when you look at that, you could have 50-50 shots on the Texans on Black Monday coming up, 50-50 shot on the Panthers. He said that he did not see Cliff Kingsbury returning.
I don't know a single soul who thinks he's going to return.
Yep, that's what he
Cliff
said.
Kingsbury is good as done, dude. He needed to be gone last year, but
Yeah,
for some reason they kept him.
He said the only thing that would save him is the fact that Kyler Murray is going to be out for majority of the season or halfway, right? At least. And that if they wanted somebody to ride the ship and reduce salary, right? That was it. One other tidbit. I've been told too that the Cardinals could really, really do a whole revamping, meaning they could really do a fire sale there, right? And DeAndre Hopkins is one name that has came up. That
Really?
that he could be somebody that's moved, a contract that's moved in the offseason because they could be looking at reducing their contracts. So DeAndre Hopkins, man, I honestly like think about teams that are really, really needing a wide receiver. And like you think honestly about teams like the Giants that will go all in. You think about teams like I think even the Browns would consider going after Hopkins. The reason why is that Deshaun Watson, right, playing with them already there. So
that's that could happen. They got Amari Cooper though.
Yep, that would be a deadly combination.
Oh, that would be. And no matter where DeAndre Hopkins goes, he's a wide receiver one automatically. He's so talented.
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of Texans fans say, "Hey, they want him back," right? But DeAndre Hopkins, definitely one of the best in the league. To me, he's one of the top 5 still in the league easily. And I think definitely he could have a change of scenery if the Cardinals decide to move on from contracts like they were talking. Do you see anybody else, Tanner, as we're getting ready to close out today? Do you see anybody else that's potentially gone on Black Monday?
Man, there could be, several people.
Jeff Saturday will be for sure.
Jeff Saturday, I think Lovie Smith is gone. Steve Wilkes, Cliff Kingsbury.
So it's 4.
Rightfully should be gone. I know we're missing a few. The Browns.
Maybe the Browns. That might be 5.
Is it Stefanski?
Yeah, the average is 6 every year. Who are you thinking might be the 6th?
I know there's one I'm blatantly missing right now. I am totally blanking.
Remember, we do got a 6 team out there already that needs a coach, which is the Broncos. So
yeah, it's going to be the Broncos. That's
well, the Broncos are already let him go, but that could be a situation. I'm going to tell you, for me, it might be the Chargers.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yes. Also the Chargers. I'm saying there's tons of coaches that could and should be on the hot seat.
What
Staley's
about the
one of them.
head coach?
Dennis Allen, I think he deserves to be gone.
Okay.
Gotcha. Not saying I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
He's gone.
So a few that we mentioned here on Black Monday that, could be gone there. Definitely. The Bucks, man. I've heard that
Todd Bowles is not a head coach.
But Byron Leftwich is definitely not going to be there unless something majorly changes while they're in the playoffs.
Right? I see Todd Bowles gone, and if Byron Leftwich becomes a head coach, it's going to be the Bucks. Yeah. I think maybe they'll move him up.
I don't even think
a name to watch as always.
Yeah, you know what? I think the Bucks. Honestly, I think a team that really is monitoring Byron Leftwich is the Steelers. He played for the Steelers. He's got a relationship with their head coach. I think that's something to watch.
Oh, that's a hot take.
Yep, I think that's something to watch. You know, he worked with Ben Roethlisberger a whole lot.
Yeah, but
Right?
as a head coach, are you talking about to watch as a head coach?
No, to watch his OC.
Okay. So you think he'll leave as OC to go somewhere else as an OC?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if the Bucks will retain him though as OC.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But you know, it just depends what he does in the playoffs. If he honestly, if he has a good playoff Tanner,
Mm-hmm.
I think you know he'll stay. But if he don't, you know, something just to keep our eye on.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get it. All
Yep.
right, guys, we gotta transition into the wrap up here. Once again, we appreciate you guys stopping by NFL Rumors, talking about all your latest news and rumors circling around the NFL every single week. Excuse me, every single week. Do you have anything to finish up on today?
No, I just want to say we really do appreciate everybody at Pray for Damar Hamlin. Really appreciate all the critical care people that worked with them, and this was great news that we were able to give on the podcast today. His update. We're still praying for the young man, and we're you know really happy to hear this news. And it was really great. It was a great to get together to talk about the NFL, and it'd be interesting to see what happens this week. And definitely, we'll keep on providing you with the Mar Hamlin updates there because we want to give you the great news, how his story keeps going. Like I hope he has one of the best stories in life that we have heard about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they say right now he FaceTimed into a team meeting today. So I think
Oh wow,
everyone got to see him and hear him talk at least, or at least was able to see that he could listen to them. So
that's
wonderful
crazy.
news.
That is wild, man.
Wonderful news.
Yep.
Guys, just a great episode today. I had a lot of fun talking today. Tune in next week. We'll be covering everything, especially, you know, as regular season winds down, postseason comes up. There's a lot to talk about every single week. You can catch us here on YouTube live every Friday morning. You can catch us on all your podcast platforms. Episode 11 is going to be up on all podcast platforms in like maybe half an hour. So, like I said, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all these audio platforms you guys will see us on.
Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. I mean, you know, I enjoyed the episode too. Make sure that you follow Tanner. He's got some really good stuff. He's been breaking some news as well. Definitely. And I look for that to keep on continuing the off season. He's got a lot of good contacts. Got to break the news on Peyton Hillis. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you follow us. We're heading toward 190,000 followers.
Nice.
Yep. So just keep on. You know, we appreciate just following us, and we're gonna have some more content on our website. We're gonna have newsletters. We got the YouTube channel. I mean, we're growing. The NFL Rumors network keeps on growing and growing. So we're glad to have everybody here with us.
Big things coming your way, guys, and we will see you next week. Much love. Take care, everybody.
Yeah. Much love. Thank
right.
you, guys. Have a good one.
Let me end this. Boom.